morning, everybody, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. We have a little cursive lesson today. All week long, we are going to be focusing on capital letters, and we're finishing up the whole capital letter alphabet this week. And we are spending more time on well-ordered language in our live time, so we're going to continue doing these videos separately for the rest of the week. So our first letter that we're going to be learning today is capital U. And all of the letters in our lesson today are going to start with the short curved dip at the top baseline, just like our letters from Friday. So we'll start with the capital U. We begin with a little short curved dip at the top baseline, and then draw a line straight down, curving just at the very bottom, over to the right. Then we curve back up with a straight line up to the top baseline and trace it back down. Again, short curved dip, draw a line straight down, curving at the very bottom, and then come back up, and then down again. As you can see, it looks very similar to the lowercase u. It just happens to be above the middle dotted line. So let's do several of those. We could write United States of America as an example of a proper noun that uses this. I'll just write United though, since we don't know the capital S yet. Actually, I guess we could do just lowercase for the rest. There's a preposition, and then we have learned the A, so we'll go ahead and write America with the capital letter. So it's just the S for states that doesn't end up being doesn't end up having the proper capital letter. Okay, next let's move on to the letter V, capital V. Feel free to pause if you want more time. I know I'm going pretty quickly through this. Pause if you want more time on U. Now for the capital letter V, we'll start in the same way with a little short curved dip at the top baseline. And then we'll draw a straight line down diagonally. Keep that as a straight line though, and without picking your pencil, come back up the other direction. And we actually stop it there. So this letter does not connect to other letters. Capital V. Make sure you're going slowly enough that you really go all the way down to that bottom baseline, up to the top baseline. You could write Valentine's, since that is a proper noun, and Valentine's Day is coming up very soon. Valentine's, we'll go ahead and write day as well. We have learned the capital D. Valentine's Day. So that is the capital V in cursive. Pause if you want more time to practice that capital V. Our next one, and actually for Saha Nasri, your last name ends with a V, so you can now write your name correctly, and you'll be able to, and you won't connect up to other letters for yours. So the next one is capital W. Capital W is going to look very similar to this W this V. So the W in lowercase letters is curvy, it's loopy. The W in print is in cursive will look more like a W in print. So we will start just like we did the V, and then without dropping your pencil, you kind of trace it back down and make basically another V. So again, short curved dip, go down, up, up. Again, short curved dip, down, diagonally, up, down again, and up. You don't necessarily have to trace it at a certain point, but I do think it looks a little better to have it pretty close at the top there before you come back down. Otherwise, it just looks a little bit messier when we space it out too much. So I think that it's best when we try to keep it kind of close together, even like that. As you can see, it's basically two separate V's with no tracing there, but it's just kept kind of tight. Okay, we don't have anybody with W for their first or last name, at least not for the beginning of it. We could write Washington, like Washington State or Washington, D.C., or George Washington. As you can see, it doesn't connect to other letters either. So just like the V, it's not going to connect. Okay, and I think we have just one more letter. Let me check. Actually, two more letters. The next one is the capital X. UVWX is our next one. It's going to start also with that little short curve dip. And then we're going to go diagonally down. But unlike the other letters, we're going to pick up our pencil at this point and then cross it. Now, this is only true if we're writing it just like this, though, and not connecting it to other letters. If we do connect it to other letters, we try to think of a proper noun starting with X. We could write the name Xavier, maybe. Or Xerxes. We'll go ahead and write the name Xavier. You would swoop over to an A. So you go diagonally down and then start on that A. And then later you would go back and cross it. So it looks really nice that way. We won't very often, write capital letter X in things. You could have a word that starts with an X at the beginning of a sentence, but that would not happen very often. But it does look very nice. And you'll make that diagonal line down, connect it to other letters. And then at the very end of the word, you go back and cross it, just like dotting I's and crossing T's. So if we had Xerox at the beginning of a sentence, and actually Xerox is probably proper noun, so if you were to use that, not that you would use that very often, it would connect to other letters in this way. So there's capital X. For the very last one, we'll be learning the capital Y. Capital Y is going to look very similar to lowercase y. It is curvy, it's loopy. It's not with straight lines like we've been doing with these letters. Capital Y starts with a little short curved dip, and then we drop our line down, and just like that, you kind of curve it just at the bottom, and then go back up, all the way up to that top baseline, and then drop it down below the bottom baseline to make a little tail. Like that. This does easily connect to other letters like Yellowstone Park, we could write. Yellowstone. So that's the capital Y. Oops, made the mistake of not going quite far enough down on that one. Well, I hope you enjoy these cursive letters. Oh, I just realized I did not do very many of these X's, but I'd love for you to finish the lines completely. Finish up your line with words and with just writing the letter itself. Hopefully it's getting easier and easier, all of these letters. That's all for today's lesson. I will talk to you soon. Bye.